Hey guys, this is Robert with Malai Law. We help entrepreneurs just like you start their businesses without dealing with the complicated legal forms. We are also the #1 highest rated business law firm for entrepreneurs with more than 1,500 5-star Google reviews. Today we are going to talk about mistakes that you must avoid when you have a single member LLC. As I'm sure many of you guys know, when starting a new business, there is a lot of paperwork and procedures that must be followed. In this video, I am going to explain why it is important to be aware of these various procedures and requirements when you have a single member LLC. So, the first mistake that you should avoid is the mistake of not having or obtaining an EIN number and not having a separate bank account. As I'm sure many of you guys know, an EIN number is an employer identification number. This is a number that you can obtain from the IRS, and it is essentially a tax number for your business. The reason it is so important to obtain an EIN number is because it is one of the things that the bank is going to ask you for when you go to open up a business bank account. So now you may be wondering whether or not you really need a business bank account for your LLC, and the answer is yes. When you engage in business, it is very important to have a separate business bank account, because if you don't, then you risk piercing the corporate veil. Essentially, this means that if you are found to have commingled your personal accounts with your business accounts, then the court will deem you having pierced the corporate veil and essentially go after you personally, and you risk the personal protection that an LLC offers you. So when you have a single member LLC, it is very important to have a separate business bank account, and you must make sure that all of the money your business makes is being deposited into the business bank account, and all expenses that your business incurs must be paid for from the business bank account. Not doing this will put you at great risk if something were to happen down the road with a lawsuit or a creditor. The second mistake that you should avoid is not having a proper operating agreement. An operating agreement is a document that describes the operations of the LLC and sets forth some of the agreements amongst the owners of the LLC. It is important to note that you should still have an operating agreement even if you have a single member LLC. Don't think that your LLC does not need one just because you are the only owner. Essentially, you are entering into an agreement with yourself and your business. While it is not necessary in all states, it is strongly recommended to always have an operating agreement. The reason it is important is because it will set forth the procedures that must be followed by your business and will state who the owner and manager are. Not having an operating agreement will also make it clear that the LLC is separate from you for tax purposes, and will avoid headaches down the road when dealing with banks and taxes. It will also prevent the state's default rules to apply to you. The operating agreement is also important because it will oftentimes clarify what happens if the owner of the LLC passes away, or what happens if you are no longer able to run the business. Overall, the operating agreement will avoid potential legal battles down the road and will likely save you money in future legal expenses. The third mistake you must avoid is not doing the necessary filings, such as statement of information and paying the annual fee. Typically, it is an annual fee in most states. Some states require it biannually, and some require it every 2 years. But after you register an LLC, it is important to file the statement of information. Generally, this must be done within 60 to 90 days after registering the LLC. If you don't file, then you risk your LLC incurring various late fees, and it may ultimately result in your LLC being shut down. You should also ensure that each year you pay the state the annual renewal fees, as well as any state franchise tax fees if your state of incorporation has any. Overall, it is important to keep good records of everything and ensure that your LLC is being properly maintained. The last mistake you should avoid is not having an accountant to handle your taxes for you. Oftentimes, taxes cause a great deal of complications for new business owners. The tax laws are constantly changing, and having an accountant will ensure that you are set up properly with the best corporate entity for your particular situation. Having a good accountant is also likely to result in you saving more money on taxes than the accountant actually costs. The tax code is very complicated, and having an experienced accountant help you get organized and set up will likely save you a great deal of money down the road. So overall, if you're an entrepreneur looking to register an LLC in the US, then click on the link below to schedule a free consultation with us. During the phone call, we will be able to determine whether you should register an LLC or a corporation, and we will hold your hand throughout the process. So go ahead and click the link below. And also, if you have any questions, just post them below, and my team and I will try to get to them as soon as possible. See you guys in the next video.